Hello and welcome to the Week 12 Team Conti Sim Performance track guide for the NASCAR NextGen car. We are at Darlington Raceway for the second time in as many seasons. So if you think back to Season 2, we came here but ran under very different conditions, much hotter track conditions, which obviously slow lap times down, cause additional tire wear, and really just changes the cadence of the race. As we come back here for the last week in Season 3, we are faced with a very cool track temperature due to a late afternoon, early evening start. And because of that, our lap times are faster, our tire temperatures are a bit lower, and we just have more ability to push. So unlike the last video that we did here that talked a lot about tire conservation and slipping and sliding, this video is still going to focus on how to maximize the potential of the tire without killing them. But really, our main focus is going to be how to make time around here without sliding the front tires at both ends of the track. Because we have so much grip and because we're going so fast, it's really necessary to keep the car on the neutral to tight side versus being a little bit loose. So in doing that, it's easy to burn the right front off this week. So as I get into this run, I'll continue to talk about things that I'm doing to mitigate some of that front tightness. Going down into turn 3, you can see I'm shifting down into 4th gear, lifting and braking at where the safer barrier starts to poke out down the back, quick downshift into the corner, and then entering on the bottom, sliding up in the center, and then exiting low. Into turn 1, just a little bit of brake, aim to get the left front just on that apron track transition, and then we drive it up the track with throttle, and then back down the track with throttle, not rushing getting to full throttle at any point in that corner. Very easy to burn the fronts off on the approach to the wall in 1 and 2. Good amount of free roll through 3 and 4 and lots of trail braking deep into the corner, unlike 1 where it's just a little bit of brake initially and then back off. Back on the throttle again, not getting to full throttle, a little throttle reduction there in the center to turn back down the hill, and then full throttle up off. And as always with this run, I am taking a long run into consideration, so these lap times here are not exactly my fastest lap times, but they're a good starting pace to not overly conserve tire, but just to make sure we've got something to race with past 10-15 laps. In 1 and 2, unlike how this track used to be a couple of years ago, it's not necessary to get all the way up next to the wall anymore with this next-gen car and its sensitivity with bottoming out the diffuser. It's really rough up next to the fence, so I try to keep about a half a car width away from it at my highest point. You can see 6 laps in here, still able to make good lap time. First couple laps are not going to be your best. Typically 3 or 4 will be your outright best on a race run if you're pushing. Up to 5th down the back, you can see that safer barrier poking out, lift and brake right there. Get those left sides right on the dashed line there, slide up a little bit in the center, and then try to exit low. Get a nice straight low exit. Just do whatever you can to avoid sliding the fronts in the center. And up to the fence. Like, I can go full throttle right there, but then I really have to take a lot of throttle out in the center to get it to turn back down. So at least with these particular track conditions, don't want to go full throttle. And more than likely, the race will be a little bit hotter than what I've got here. I think this is 82.3 track temp, as there are 30-something cars running around the track. In A Open or NIS, the track is going to heat up, and as the track heats up, obviously it slows down, so you're going to have even less grip to use. So don't feel obligated to go full throttle in the center of 1 and 2. Not necessary. Now, as the run goes on, and I'll try to display it, or demonstrate it rather, a bit in this video, but as the run goes on in your race settings and the track takes rubber and gets slick, there are going to be some alternative lines that open up that are really effective. They're effective in just making speed outright, but they're also effective in getting some clean air to the nose. Because of how narrow Darlington is and how much dirty air these next gens send off the back of them, it is really critical to find some clean air. And since the track isn't all that wide, it's tough to find it. But we can do some creative things to get out of the wake of the car in front of us, and I'll start to show that toward the lap 20 mark of this video. Working lap 10 right here. I feel like I've got really good grip. Again, just a little bit neutral. Could definitely be tight if I overdrive either end of the track. But just taking what the car will give to me right now. Remember, you've got your brake bias to use as well. You can go up on it if you're loose, go down on it if you're tight. More than likely you'll be taking brake bias out throughout the run at Darlington to mitigate some of that front tightness. And although the brake bias really concentrates on affecting handling on entry when you're actually braking, if you take enough bias out or put enough bias in, you'll start to swing the tire temp buildup to one axle or the other, which can affect the handling throughout the entirety of the corner. And what I mean by that is, if I take 5% of brake bias out, which loosens the car, and I use a lot of brake into 3, well, I'm just going to gradually heat those rear tires up more and more every time I apply brake into 3. And as I build more rear tire heat, obviously that's going to make me a little bit looser everywhere. So when I do make brake bias adjustments throughout a run, I typically go a couple tenths of a percent at a time, just so I don't overstep it and get on the wrong side of my handling condition. Started in the 28.9s, currently at, call it a 29.2, working lap 13 here, so about a quarter second of fall off so far. Not a whole lot of fall off at this track, but the tires do wear quite a bit, even with the lower heat. Assuming the track is a bit more abrasive, just the track properties themselves, similar to Homestead where you don't have a lot of tire heat, but you just have a lot of inherent tire wear. And with that tire wear, if you can keep the tires above, say, 80% longer into the run, it starts to make a ton more lap time past that 25 mark. It seems like that 80% marker is where you start to lose heaps of lap time, just based on what I've seen after my runs. Clearly you don't know what your tires are at as you're driving on track, but you'll find toward lap 30, if you've taken care of the tires, you can make a tenth or two more lap time than you can if you've burned them off and they're below that threshold. Working lap 15 here, gave it a little bit more throttle off, a little bit loose actually, which is nice. That means I've done a good job protecting the front so far. Enter low into 3, slide up in the center, and then get a nice straight exit off. Common mistake here at Darlington is people overdriving entry to 3 or just trying to carry too much speed through the center, cranking entirely too much wheel into it and burning the right front off in the center and then snapping loose on exit as the car unloads. If you feel like you've got a crank wheel in the center of 3, you are not slowing down enough. Typically when I coach folks and we look at the data and we compare it, they're rolling more speed through the center than I am, but then by the time they get to the exit, they're losing time again. Why is that? Because they're just scrubbing the fronts, or they're sliding the rears as they try to exit with too much speed. As we get toward that lap 20 point, like I said, I'm going to start to play around with the line a bit. It may not lead to better lap time in these track conditions, but I at least want to give you all an idea of just some things that you can change up in your races as the track does evolve. If you end up hitting the chip a little bit and fourth down the front, say your weather's cooler or you're in heavy draft, that's okay, don't worry about that. Much later into the run, you can almost keep it in fourth down the back too, which is nice. But for now, we're going to continue to shift. Starting to build a little bit free off of 4. So with that in mind, I'm just going to keep a little bit of throttle out of it. The exit of 2 and the exit of 4, just try to get that right rear temperature controlled a bit better. So right here, just really bearing in mind how much I'm hanging the right rear out on exit, and in doing so still is a little bit quicker. This goes to show overdriving Darlington does not make lap time. Yeah, good grip right there on both ends. What I did off of 2 definitely helped grip off of 4. Taking lap 20 here at a 29:48 to start. Push a little bit harder here. Probably won't make any more lap time. And about broke even. Trying to get all the way down to the bottom off of 2. Almost clipping that apron on exit to maximize the space I have to carry speed to the backstretch. And completing lap 20 at a 29:54. Okay, so alternative lines. Wider entry into 1, but a slower entry. But then what we can do is we can really carry a lot of throttle through the center. And you can see I'll start to make up time on exit. Not a whole lot there in a clean track. But the idea is to slow down your entry, get up to the wall quicker, and then carry more throttle center off. You'll have better grip up there because the track will be cleaner. And you'll have a bit more clean air as people dive down to the bottom and slide up. And try it again here. So not even trying to get to that apron transition. There you go. Hard throttle, making up time, making up time. Nice straight shot to the bottom. And off of there, 600ths in the green. Still running conventional line in 3 and 4. I'll change that up next lap. Flip-flop it. We'll go conventional in 1 and 2 and alternative in 3 and 4. Now what's alternative in 3 and 4? Well, there's a couple different options. First option we'll try is entering in the middle, sliding up a bit more in the center, and then exiting low versus our low entry. We'll see what that does for carrying momentum off the corner. So going to aim to enter in between the first and second seam, slide up in the center, and cut it down on exit. A little loose, but some good forward drive. Might be good in the race. So we'll go conventional here in 1 and 2. Can feel my right rear getting greasy as I try all these different lines. So conventional in 1 and 2. We're going to enter on the apron in 3 and 4. Yes, the apron. Enter in the apron, slide up in the center, and then power down up off. Not great lap time in a clean track, but that apron becomes super grippy when the rest of the surface gets worn out when cars are running on it. You can really drive it in deeper, you can slide people, you can clear people, and you can sometimes make better lap time by yourself. Alright, so that was conventional 1 and 2. We're going to go conventional 3 and 4. Left side's just on that seam, up in the center a little bit, back down on exit. Go alternative 1 and 2. See if we can carry more speed. Little brake. Back on the gas. See if we can carry more speed on exit here. A little loose, a little loose. Good exit. So you can see alternative and conventional in 1 and 2 about break even now this late in the run. So imagine on a used up track that alternative line should be pretty advantageous at this point. Good grip through 3 and 4. Now you can also try this. You can throw it down on the apron here. That might be okay when the surface gets hot, but on a clean track you can see about a 1/10 down. Still have really good rear grip though, which means that I managed the pace well at the front of the run and got something to race with. Let's go conventional, conventional. Little clip of that apron, back on the gas hard. You can see all that time I make up versus slamming the car onto the apron. Should make up a little bit more here on exit. I do. About break even to 5th. Barrier pokes out down to 4th. To the bottom. Slowly feed it throttle. A little loose on exit. It's still okay. We'll go alternative in 1. See what I can do on exit here. Yeah, a little better exit speed with that opened up entry. I might have hit the wall, but you didn't see anything. We'll just go with that. And come to take lap 30 here. Try to get a good last lap in. Good lap time right now. Really positive. And we'll really try to drive the heck out of it and see if that works. Probably won't, but give it all it's got. Yeah, you can see right there, it just fought a little tight, turning back down with that conventional line. Still about broken even. Sent it down into 3. Slid up a little bit more than I wanted to. Struggling for grip, trying to put the power down. And we'll finish the run at a 29.94. Now what I am going to show you all right here is a pit road entry. Pit road entry, very important here. You can make up a lot of time or you can lose a lot of time. When I see people make pit road entries here, I think, man, they're losing a lot of time, too conservative. So here's how you do it. Go down to 3 like you typically would. You start braking, and now you just really start to slow down. See that yellow line? Oh, I missed it. Okay, we're gonna try it again. But that is what you're trying to do. You're trying to hang it on the surface as long as possible and then bring it down as straight as possible. You don't want to hook that inside wall, because you lose a lot of time doing that. Safe, you'll make it, but you're going to lose probably 5, 6, 7 seconds doing that, and you cannot make that up on track. All right, let's try it again. Start braking a little bit earlier. There we go. I think I got it this time. Yep, whoop, got it. And that's how you want to do it right there. I was probably a little bit too high on the surface as I slowed down. If you've got cars around you, you want to make sure that you stay committed to that very bottom so you don't get run over. But if you've got some track space, the more you can maximize that angle turning across the track to the apron, the straighter you can make that, the more speed you can carry. And I'll make a quick pit stop right here and then just quickly show a pit road exit. I don't typically do these pit road tutorials, but I've had some feedback and I think this is definitely helpful, especially at a place like this one. Alright, watch your tires spin on exit. Got to keep it below this yellow line. We want to maximize it as much as possible up to 3rd gear. Try to get it turned down here. So there's our pit road merge point, so now I can really merge wherever I want if I've got clean track. And then as I come back out on tires here, I'm going to have a lot more grip. So now it's all about, okay, where's the limit of the grip and how hard can I push? Now let's see what this thing's got in it. We'll give it 2 hot laps right here and then wrap up this video. And this is me pushing it for everything it's got. Obviously, if I was in a race, I would not do this right off the back of a pit stop, but we're just trying to see what kind of grip we've got in this thing. Heavy braking into 3, carrying a lot of trail brake through the center. So nice to have fresh tires. Nice straight exit, maximize that track space off of 4. Good lap right there. Go 1 more. Should be quicker in theory if I do my job. All the way down to the bottom, almost touch the apron. Good grip down there. Sail it into 3. Just catch that set of dashed lines. Good exit off of 3. Watch the wall, and that's a 28.78. Okay, so yeah, that was a lot of work. I'm worn out. Darlington is a tough track, especially in the NextGen car. You have to be very precise, and it's even tougher when you're around other cars because then your line's compromised, you've got dirty air. It's a very, very difficult track to master, but when you do master it, you will do extremely well throughout the week and rack up a lot of wins, make some good iRating gains, doing things that we want to do at the end of the season as we head into Season 4. So that's it for me. That covers it. Obviously, I am always here to answer questions. Love feedback on the videos. We've tried to add things to the videos based on the feedback and make them to where this is really a one-stop shop for everything you need to know for the week. So hopefully we're moving closer to making that happen. Otherwise, I want to thank you all for watching these videos throughout the entirety of Season 3 and before that, obviously. If you're a customer, we appreciate your patronage. If you're a viewer, we appreciate your viewership. We'd love if you subscribed, liked, and followed our channel. And also joined our TCSP Discord, where there's a lot of valuable information and discourse that happens in there throughout the week that we think you would find valuable. That's it for me. Appreciate you all for being here. Have a great week at Darlington, and we will see you next week, week 13. I'm sure we go somewhere, and we'll see you then. Take care, everybody.